Ladies and gentlemen, let me get right to it. You have one life, and you're not here to be on everyone else's to-do list. You're not here to live someone else's dream, follow someone else's timeline, or silence your voice to make everyone else comfortable. You are here for you, and that's not selfish, it's necessary. We spend so much time trying to earn approval, prove our worth, please people who wouldn't even show up for us in the hard moments. Why? Because somewhere along the line we were taught that choosing ourselves was arrogant, that putting ourselves first meant we didn't care about others. That's complete garbage. Let me tell you something right now, choosing you is the bravest, most honest, and most empowering thing you can do. Here's what I've learned the hard way. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to suddenly see your value and hand you the life you dream of. You have to choose you, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. When you wake up every morning and put everyone else's needs before your own, you're not being strong, you're slowly disappearing. And the world doesn't need another version of someone else, it needs the real, bold, messy, powerful you. So how do you choose yourself? You stop waiting. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop waiting for someone to say, go ahead. You don't need permission. You need a decision, and listen, I know it's scary. You've spent years thinking about what others think of you, but let me ask you something, what do you think of you? Because that answer is the one that matters most. Choosing yourself means saying no when you mean no. It means leaving that job, that relationship, that toxic pattern. It means showing up for your dreams even when no one claps. It means trusting your gut, following your fire, and doing it scared. You will lose people when you choose yourself. But you'll gain something way more valuable yourself, your peace, your power, your clarity. So let me end with this. The next time life hands you a choice between staying small and showing up, between people, pleasing and truth, telling, between being liked and being authentic, choose you every damn time. You've been taught to listen to everyone else first. Your parents, your boss, your partner, your social media feed. Everyone has an opinion about who you should be, how you should act, what's realistic, and what's too much. And over time, if you're not careful, you begin to shrink yourself. You start measuring your worth by someone else's ruler. You start living your life like it's a performance, and the audience holds the scorecards. But the truth is, asterisk asterisk, you are the one you've been waiting for, asterisk asterisk. We're raised in a culture that glorifies selflessness to the point of self-erasure. You're supposed to be humble. You're supposed to be patient. You're supposed to be grateful even when the life you're living doesn't fit you anymore. You're told to put others first, be a team player, be nice, be agreeable, be quiet, and slowly, without even realizing it, you disconnect from your own voice. You forget how to advocate for yourself. You forget how to say, no, this doesn't work for me. You stop checking in with how you feel because you're too busy making sure everyone else is comfortable. And then what happens? You end up waiting. You wait for someone to validate you. You wait for a sign. You wait for the job to offer itself. You wait for the partner to finally see you. You wait for your parents to approve. You wait until you feel ready. You wait until the fear goes away. But that moment never comes, because deep down, you're still hoping someone will give you the green light. Let me break the illusion. No one is coming. There is no permission slip. There is no savior. There is no right moment. The only person who can flip the switch is you. Asterisk asterisk, you are the one you've been waiting for. Asterisk asterisk, that confidence you keep hoping to magically feel. It's built through action. It's built every time you show up for yourself, even if your hands are shaking. Every time you choose your peace over their approval. Every time you speak up when it would be easier to stay silent. You've got to stop handing your life over to people who don't have to live with the consequences of your decisions. No one else has to lie in bed at night with your regrets. No one else has to carry your potential unlived. You do, and the cost of waiting is everything you were meant to become. So what do? You take your power back one small choice at a time. You stop looking for someone to tell you that you're enough, and you start telling yourself, You stop chasing love that feels like begging and start treating yourself like someone who deserves respect always. You stop numbing out. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop editing your truth. You are not here to be a watered-down version of yourself. You are not here to win the approval of people who wouldn't notice if you disappeared. You're here to be real, to be bold, to be messy and loud and complicated and free. You are here to trust yourself more than you trust the opinions of strangers. You are here to make mistakes and learn and grow and keep going. That power you're waiting to feel, it's already inside you. It's the voice that says, "This isn't it." It's the nudge that tells you to go for it. It's the ache in your chest when you know you've abandoned yourself again. It's the courage that shows up right after the fear. You don't need more advice. You don't need another sign. You need to choose you. Yes, it will be hard. It will be lonely sometimes. People will not understand. They will project their fears onto you. They will tell you to be realistic, to tone it down, to stay in your lane. But you weren't born to play small. You weren't born to follow the script. You were born to lead yourself. That's what choosing you looks like. And every time you do it, every time you choose yourself, your peace, your joy, your truth, you get stronger. You build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are worth showing up for. So stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're allowed to want more. You are the one you've been waiting for. And the moment you realize that not just in your head, but deep in your bones, everything changes. Because once you start choosing you, you stop chasing things that don't align. You stop settling. You stop shrinking. You stop performing, and you start living fully, freely, powerfully. Like the real you was meant to all along. You spend years looking for validation from other people, teachers, bosses, friends, partners, even strangers online. You learn early on that praise feels like love, that approval feels like safety, and that when people like you, you must be doing something right. So you become good at reading the room. You figure out what people want from you, and you give it to them. You learn to contort yourself to fit the mold that keeps things smooth. But here's the problem: when you keep outsourcing your worth to other people's opinions, you lose the ability to define it for yourself. It's subtle at first. You post something and then obsess over the likes. You make a decision and immediately wonder what so, and so would think. You have a dream but hold back from pursuing it because someone might roll their eyes. You don't say what you really feel because you're terrified of being misunderstood or rejected, and over time, you forget who you are underneath all the masks. You don't even notice it happening. You think you're being responsible, considerate, humble. But what you're really doing is asking the world to tell you you're enough, and the world is inconsistent. Some people will love you, some won't. Some will support your dreams, some will laugh at them. You will never be able to control what people think, and even when you do everything right, someone will still have a problem with you. The question is, why are you letting their opinion become your truth? Why are you allowing someone else's fear, judgment, or misunderstanding to define your worth, your direction, or your identity? The truth is, when you depend on other people to validate you, you give them power they were never meant to hold. You're handing them the remote control to your confidence. One negative comment can ruin your day. One disapproving look can shrink your vision. One backhanded compliment can make you second. Guess what you were proud of 5 minutes ago. And it's not because you're weak, it's because you haven't realized yet that worth isn't something you earn. It's something you claim. No one else gets to tell you what you're worth. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You get to decide that you are enough even if no one claps. You get to believe in yourself before the results come in. You get to trust your voice even when it's shaky. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be universally liked. You need to be asterisk asterisk true asterisk asterisk to yourself. When you stop outsourcing your worth, everything changes. You stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. You stop asking, will they like me? And start asking, do I like me? You stop living like a mirror, always reflecting what others want to see, and start living like a flame, burning from within, steady, self-fueled. People might not understand. They might say you've changed. They might feel threatened when you stop bending over backward to make them comfortable. Let them. That's not your business. Your business is staying rooted in your own integrity. Your business is honoring your own boundaries. Your business is waking up every day and choosing to believe that who you are, right now, without performance or polish, is already worthy. This isn't about arrogance. This isn't about refusing to grow or hear feedback. This is about creating a core of self-worth that doesn't collapse every time someone disapproves. This is about knowing that you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have opinions. You are allowed to pursue joy without justifying it. You are allowed to walk away from what doesn't feel right. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to say yes. It takes time to unlearn the habit of looking outside yourself for value. It takes practice to sit with discomfort, to disappoint others, to risk not being liked and still choose yourself. But every time you do it, you build a deeper connection to who you really are. And that's the version of you the world needs. Not the polished, agreeable version, not the one always hustling for approval, the real one, the grounded one, the one who can say, I am enough, and mean it. Because once you reclaim your worth, no one can take it from you. You're no longer at the mercy of opinions, algorithms, or applause. You're free. You get to show up fully. You get to live boldly, and you get to define success, happiness, and fulfillment on your own terms. So stop giving the world the pen and asking them to write your story. Pick it up yourself. Write something true, something messy, something brave, something that reflects who you really are, not who they want you to be. Because the moment you stop outsourcing your worth is the moment you start owning your life. There's a lie that most people don't even realize they're living under, the lie that if they just think about something long enough, if they plan it thoroughly, if they mean well and have a strong intention, then somehow their life will change, but it won't. Life doesn't change because you want it to. Life changes when you move, when you act, when you stop overthinking and start doing. That's the truth nobody wants to hear. Asterisk asterisk self-trust isn't built in your head, it's built through action. Asterisk asterisk, you can read all the books, you can listen to the podcasts. You can write affirmations in your journal every morning and talk about your goals until your voice runs dry, but none of that will give you confidence if you don't follow it up with action. Self-trust is like a muscle. You only build it when you show up for yourself consistently, especially when it's hard. The problem is that we think we need to feel confident before we act. We wait until we feel ready, but readiness is a myth. Confidence doesn't come before the doing, it comes after. You can't think your way into trusting yourself. You have to prove it to yourself, not by doing massive, perfect things, but by doing small, courageous things over and over again. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust. Every time you do the thing you said you would, even if no one else is watching, you build trust. Every time you get back up after failing, every time you push through fear, every time you follow through on something that matters to you, that's where trust grows. And let me tell you, it's not always flashy. It's not always inspiring. Sometimes it's just showing up when you don't want to. Sometimes it's making the call, sending the email, putting down the drink, saying no to something that's always pulled you off track. Sometimes it's choosing to walk into discomfort because you've decided that who you're becoming matters more than staying comfortable. And yes, it's going to feel awkward at first. Your brain will try to talk you out of it. It'll come up with 100 reasons why now isn't the time, why you're not good enough, why it might not work. That's normal. That's the resistance talking. But action is the antidote. Because once you do the thing even badly, something shifts. You realize you didn't need to feel ready, you just needed to move. Most people don't lack motivation, they lack momentum. They're stuck in their heads, planning, doubting, rethinking, waiting for the fear to go away. But fear doesn't go away. It just gets quieter when you start moving toward it. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you sit with it, the bigger it gets. But when you stand up and do something, anything, it starts to shrink. Self-trust is knowing that you can count on yourself. It's the internal evidence that says, I've done hard things before. I can do this one too. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always getting it right. It's about being consistent, showing up, trying again and again. That's where real confidence comes from. Not fake positivity, not pretending you're not scared, but walking forward with the fear and doing it anyway. When you start building self-trust, you stop outsourcing your decisions. You stop needing constant validation. You stop waiting for other people to agree with you before you take a step. You stop being paralyzed by the possibility of failure. Because deep down, you know you've got your own back. You don't build a relationship with yourself by thinking about it. You build it by taking aligned, courageous, imperfect action over and over again. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you build trust. Every time you face something uncomfortable instead of avoiding it, you build trust. Every time you walk away from what's easy in favor of what's right for you, you build trust. You're not going to wake up one day and magically feel confident. You're going to earn that confidence moment by moment, action by action, decision by decision. And the amazing thing, once you start proving to yourself that you can be trusted, everything in your life starts to shift. You walk differently, you speak differently, you no longer look for permission because you've already given it to yourself. You stop playing small because you know you're capable of more and you've got the evidence to back it up. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop talking about it and start doing something, anything that moves you forward. Show yourself what you're made of. Build the kind of self-trust that doesn't waver when things get tough. Because when you trust yourself truly and deeply, you become unstoppable. No one's going to give you permission to live your life. That's not how it works. There is no fairy godmother coming to tap your shoulder and say, now's the time to be bold. Now's the time to chase your dreams. Now's the time to speak your truth. That moment isn't coming because it's already here. Every single day, you wake up with the power to choose yourself, to bet on yourself, and to make decisions that reflect your values and your vision. But most people are still waiting for a sign, waiting for approval, waiting for someone to say it's okay to prioritize their own needs, their own voice, their own life. But here's the truth. Asterisk, asterisk, you don't need permission to prioritize yourself. Asterisk, asterisk, for years, maybe decades, you've been taught that prioritizing yourself is selfish. That it means you don't care about others, that you're difficult, demanding, or too much if you speak up. So you learn to stay quiet, you learn to take care of everyone else first, you put your dreams on hold. You ignore your needs, you say yes when you mean no, you say I'm fine when you're anything but, and slowly, quietly, you disappear from your own life. It's not that you don't want more, it's that you've convinced yourself you're not allowed to want more. That you have to earn rest, that you have to prove your value through productivity, that everyone else's comfort comes before your peace. So you overextend, overcommit, overgive. You show up for everyone but yourself. You pour from a cup that's been empty for years, and then you wonder why you feel numb, lost, exhausted, bitter. But deep down you know you've abandoned yourself. The turning point is realizing this. You're allowed to put yourself first. Not because the world gave you permission, but because you decided to. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to ask for what you need. You're allowed to rest, to say no, to change your mind. You're allowed to protect your peace, even if it disappoints other people. Because prioritizing yourself doesn't mean you don't care about others. It means you care enough about yourself to stop betraying your own heart. When you start making decisions from that place, from alignment, from clarity, from self-respect, everything shifts. You stop hustling for worth. You stop burning out trying to be everything to everyone. You stop tolerating things that drain you. You get honest. You get boundaries. You start treating yourself like someone who matters, because you do. People might not like it when you change. When you start choosing yourself, some people will call you selfish. Let them, that's not your burden to carry. You're not here to make everyone else comfortable. You're here to be real. You're here to be whole. And let's be clear, ***, there is nothing selfish about self-respect. ***, there is nothing selfish about wanting a life that feels honest. You don't owe anyone your silence, your time, or your energy just because they're used to getting it. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you constantly abandon yourself to please others, they'll expect it. If you set yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm, they'll never even notice you're burning. But when you stop, when you start saying no, when you start protecting your time, when you start standing up for what you need, the people who love you will adjust. And the ones who don't, they were never really for you anyway. You are the only one who can make this choice. No one can do it for you. You can wait your whole life for someone to finally say, "You matter." Or you can decide to start acting like it right now. The choice is yours, and yes, it's scary because putting yourself first requires courage. It requires breaking patterns. It requires walking away from people, pleasing, from guilt, from the identity you've built around being agreeable. But the alternative is even scarier: living a life that isn't truly yours. You were not born to be everyone else's solution. You were not born to be invisible in your own story. You were not born to live a life of quiet resentment, constantly giving away pieces of yourself until there's nothing left. You were born to live boldly, honestly, fully, and that begins the moment you stop asking for permission and start showing up for yourself like you mean it. So wake up, speak up, rest when you need to, walk away when it's no longer healthy. Pursue what lights you up. Hold space for your needs, your feelings, your goals. You are not too much. You are not selfish. You are not wrong for wanting a life that feels like your own. You don't need permission to matter. You already do. Now start acting like it. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to something that could. That's the part people don't talk about. Your time, your energy, your focus, they're not infinite. You can't give them away carelessly and expect to have anything left for what actually matters to you. Every decision is a trade. Every yes has a cost. And if you're not being intentional, if you're saying yes out of guilt, fear, or habit, you're slowly building a life that doesn't feel like yours. Most people are overcommitted not because they're bad at time management, but because they're afraid. Afraid of disappointing people, afraid of missing out, afraid of conflict, afraid of what it says about them if they prioritize their own needs. So they say yes to the extra shift, to the birthday party they don't want to go to the relationship they've outgrown, to the project that drains them, and then wonder why they feel stretched so thin and resentful. It's not the commitments themselves, it's that they aren't aligned. Your life is a reflection of what you tolerate. That's not an insult, it's an invitation to get clear, to get honest, to stop pretending that busy is the same as fulfilled, to stop believing that being liked is more important than being whole. You were not put on this earth to please everyone. You were not put here to be agreeable, predictable, and convenient. You were put here to live your truth. And that means protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. The version of you that you're trying to become, they can't emerge in chaos. They can't grow in an environment of constant distraction, people, pleasing, and overexertion. That version of you needs boundaries, needs clarity, needs space, and space doesn't just appear. You have to create it by learning to say no to the things that don't serve you, so you can say a full, grounded, unapologetic yes to the things that do. That's the real power of boundaries. They're not walls, they're doors. They don't push people out, they invite the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences in. Boundaries tell the world I take myself seriously. Boundaries say I'm not available for things that drain my spirit. Boundaries make space for alignment, for rest, for creation, for joy. But here's the thing, saying no is uncomfortable, especially at first. It triggers guilt, it brings up fear, it might upset people. You'll wonder if you're being selfish, dramatic, or too harsh, but the discomfort of saying no is temporary. The cost of constantly saying yes when you mean no. That lasts, that piles up. That's where burnout begins. That's where self-betrayal grows. And eventually, your body will start to tell the truth, even if your mouth won't. You'll feel it, the tension, the fatigue, the anxiety, the lack of enthusiasm for things you used to love. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's your inner self begging you to stop abandoning your needs, to pause, to breathe, to evaluate who and what actually deserves access to your limited energy. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to justify every no. You don't need a perfect excuse or a long apology. No is a complete sentence. This doesn't work for me is a valid reason. Your peace is reason enough. Your time is sacred. Start treating it that way and let go of the idea that you have to be available to everyone all the time. You're not a resource. You're a human being. You deserve rest. You deserve joy. You deserve a life that reflects your truth, not just your obligations. And when you start living that way with integrity, with intention, with discernment, you stop attracting chaos. You stop inviting in relationships, jobs, and commitments that deplete you. You stop living reactively and start creating from a place of wholeness. That's what happens when your yes actually means yes. That's what happens when your no is grounded, clear, and consistent. People will adjust. They may resist at first, especially if they benefited from your lack of boundaries. But over time, they'll learn that your energy is valuable, that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. And more importantly, you will learn that you can trust yourself to protect your energy, to stand up for your peace, and to create space for what matters most. So the next time you feel the pressure to say yes, pause. Ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I'm becoming? Does this serve me or drain me? Am I saying yes from power or from fear? And if the answer points to no, then let it be a no. Not a maybe, not a we'll see. A clear, clean, loving no. Because every no you say to something misaligned is a yes to the life you're trying to build, and you're worth that yes every single time.